My name is Erin Schmidt, and I chose Merit International for my benchmark project. One of the main reasons why I chose them is because I graduated with my degree in hospitality management, and honestly, that's one of the most fascinating industries for me, which is why I'm kind of in it. And I've always found that a very interesting process and being able to understand the ins and outs of a wide variety of areas of hospitality. So it's kind of one of the main reasons why I chose it. Um, Sorry. All right, so one of the eight dimensions that I chose that I feel like Marriott International and the most research I found was that Marriott International was kind of lacking in was social responsibility, actually. So one of the main ways that I aspects that I didn't see and I didn't know this is that they actually have a Serve 360 sustainability project kind of process and something they're developing a little bit more. And so, which essentially is a social impact forum, which kind of essentially allows them to address a wide variety of environmentally challenging issues and things like that that they are struggling in there and ways they're improving. There's actually a wide variety of information and yeah, information on it. So definitely something that was very helpful within this process, but it is something they're kicking off more in 2025. So more of the information that I found was pre 2025, and is kind of what they've been doing all the way up until now. So the one of the main environmental impacts that they kind of found, and I found the most information on was their large scale operations. So they have a lot of different branches and a lot of different, I guess, different brands and things like that to use the proper words for it. And yeah, so that can be has had a huge impact on the usage of electricity and whether it's every little detail that can have an impact um, on them because it's such a huge brand, it's such a huge company that can have a huge impact on that. Um, and then some of the significant ramifications that can have a huge impact on the company is their operations and reputation. Customer perception is a huge part of that. It's a huge part of my job as a restaurant manager. And having a good customer perception can be really hard when there is their media scrutiny that we're going to kind of talk about. And it kind of creates a loss of trust and loyalty when you're kind of having that unhealthy reputation that's kind of hard to change and it can be hard to develop. That's why any negative media or any negative communication externally used and can really have a huge impact on other future clients, future customers, future guests, but also on current clients that might have a huge opinion, a big opinion on those environmentally challenging things and don't want to stay with a company that has those issues. So the negative media attention is also a very big impact on that. And some legal risks would be compliance costs that can have a huge impact on that and on Marriott and yeah, a wide variety of those negative things that can hold on to a company for a while. And then a failure to improve, excuse me, failure to improve can result in a loss of market share. So there's a wide variety of people in hospitality. There's a wide variety in the hotel industry that can have a huge impact, and it can have a competitive disadvantage. It can be a huge impact on the company and its ability to be able to kind of stay in the ring. Thankfully, Marriott is a pretty big company and it's established a huge following and sharing and a huge area of hospitality. But there are things like this that can have a huge impact on and things like that. So different fads and trends and things like that can have a huge impact on the company's future and resulting in that. And the second thing is a decrease in investor confidence. So if an investor has a particular values, whether it's a shareholder that has values of um, environmentally high, environmentally stable companies, they're probably not going to want to be with them if they're finding out the Marriott is not as environmentally friendly as they would like to be, and things like that. It can have a huge impact on that, which can obviously affect the investor relations, and it can decrease that, and you'll see that, and some of that stuff can be brought out to the media and things like that. So that's definitely something that should be made aware of and can have a huge impact. And then for the analysis, we're going to be talking about organizational structure, organizational design, and then organizational culture. For organizational structure, the coordination challenges. So Marriott has more a more centralized structure, which can bring up a lot of challenges impacting social responsibility all across operations. And that second aspect of that is the bureaucracy delays. I still can't see that super well, which can have a huge impact on the decision-making process, and can slow down because of the hierarchy layer, which can have an impact on the wide variety of different positions. And there's a lot of higher ups, especially in a bigger company like Marriott, which can have a huge impact on the effect of social responsibility, especially within the company, and having that as well. So one one resource that I found was Harvard Business Review, which they actually have a lot of information on that stuff. That these types of complex structures, can hinder swift responsibilities to emerge social and environmental issues. So some of that hierarchy can have a huge impact on resolving those environmental issues within a company. And then secondly, the organizational design. So it's more of a matrix design that the Marriott kind of uses. And it's called a matrix structure, being able to integrate both functional and divisional approaches. The integration of this social responsibility in using the matrix design can help to integrate social responsibility initiatives by cross-functioning teams. So to be able to have them work sustainably on projects, so being able to have them kind of cross-working on things, as well as integrating the sustainability projects within the day-to-day tasks and day-to-day operations. And then the last one is organizational culture. Marriott's culture supports community involvement, and that's kind of one of their main values. And employees in social initiatives. With local management, if local management is not embracing the implementation of these values, and the overall effectiveness can suffer with bad employee engagement, and can result in high turnover and everything like that. And then the next thing is conscious culture and management principles. So that first aspect is ethical leadership, which helps with legal and moral standards. So Marriott's alignment with conscious culture principles start with ethical leadership. Leadership within Marriott has emphasized ethical behavior in corporate governance, which this company adheres to code of conduct and ethical practices, which is in compliance with legal standards. So that kind of helps them when it comes to ethical standards, and also legal standards. So this company is really good at that, and things like that, which I think that social responsibility is a little bit more of a based off of what a company specifically wants or wants to communicate to the outer people. But obviously, if we're not holding those moral and legal standards that Marriott already does hold, it can have a huge impact on those day-to-day practices, and also that public communication. And then the second one is social responsibility. Like I said, Surf 360. Marriott has made efforts through their Surf 360 platform, which can focus on making positive impact on communities and addresses global changes as well. So it's a wide variety of things. I know their Marriott International is international, and it does have that social change. Unfortunately, I haven't done a whole lot of research and didn't find a whole lot of information. It was a little bit of both on those international companies and those international properties, and how they can impact the community around them. So some of these initiatives are including community engagement, human rights and charitable giving to other Marriotts, others, which can either be in different communities. So there wasn't specific information that I found internationally specifically, but it can definitely have a huge impact on a wide variety of communities as well. And then sustainability. They implement green practices that sustainability certifications. So some of those practices that are implemented can help reduce operational costs and ensure long-term viability by gating the environmental risks. So some of those things is green practices and whatever that may look like. And then engaging work environment. They've created an engaging work environment that Marriott strives to promote that inclusive culture that focuses on diversity and creating a positive work environment. And with an additional creating a variety of training programs. So they do have a manager and training program, I know, that kind of helps to create a collaborative work environment that is engaging and also helps to promote their employees. So this one's going to be a little bit extensive. There's a lot of information on it. But when it comes to Kotter's 8-step challenge model, ways that I found to implement it and things that we can use to kind of, I guess, create that concept. And that first step was creating a sense of urgency based on the change model that he's kind of created. A, B, and C would be conduct assessment, present data trends, and then share success stories. So conducting that assessment to kind of communicate that there's a sense of urgency with this stuff, and then presenting the data that we've kind of looked at and evaluated, and being able to share success stories on how that's kind of been evaluated and analyzed, which would help a lot. Being able to conduct that assessment can create a little more of a particular, more specific ways and more examples of that. And then the second one would be a form of powerful coalition. So that kind of looks like the A, B, and C, identifying key stakeholders. So those specific ways that can have an impact on the company and creating a change in leadership team if necessary. And those key specific people that need to be addressed or adjusted, and engage in the influencers that are kind of affected and implemented into that and has the biggest impact in that. Create a vision for the change, define the objective, define the goal as to why we would need to kind of develop that, and develop a vision statement, which vision statements are key when being able to also communicating that to your team, being able to have a better understanding of why that's there, and lining the core values with that, and being able to kind of have that attach with a mission and vision and everything like that. Then 4, 5, and 6. 4 is communicate the vision, which create a communication plan. So communicate what that communication plan is going to be, and engage employees with that. So being able to develop that and have them discuss that and discuss what that looks like and how we can kind of change that, maybe change that vision or adjust that vision, or adjust how we're going to do that, the how aspect, and leverage with external channels, being able to develop those external channels and how we can have leverage with that. And then removing obstacles, which is conducting a barrier assessment, kind of conducting what those obstacles were, or have been, or maybe even were in the future, provide a resource and support to develop those assessments and help prevent that from happening, and empower those employees to kind of help develop those plans and being able to empower them to go out and do those things. And then the 6th one is create short-term wins. So setting smaller milestones will help develop and help encourage employees and essentially empower them, but also engage them as well, as previously discussed, and celebrate those little successes, to be able to kind of have maybe a little party or little things like that. As I've had those definitely those companies where I don't feel as motivated or I don't feel as supported by management or higher ups, especially the ones that aren't with me as day to day, and they're not there to even say many positive things and celebrating those successes and showcase results. So kind of looking at those results and evaluating them, and like I said, showcasing them, so showing them and being able to display those, whether that's to employees, just employees, other higher ups, or also just if necessary, depending on the situation, displaying those to actual customers to be able to see if it's a positive result. And then the seventh is building on the change. So assess those things and things that are working and that are not working, and expand on how we can kind of improve on those things or expand on what is working and being able to continue those things, and refine those strategies, develop those strategies and address them, refining them, cleaning them out, organizing them, figuring them out a little bit, and seeing what's not working. And involving the broader stakeholders. So essentially, involving those stakeholders that have that impact and are having those that say in it, and being able to include them in those things. And lastly, anchor new approaches in culture. So embed policies and procedures for other people, but also for employees, to help promote that ongoing education and continuing to reinforce those. So through training opportunities, like I said previously, Marriott is really good about those investing in their employees and having those training opportunities within that. And then monitor and reinforce. So kind of monitoring the development of those and reinforce the different areas that need to be kind of cleaned out, refined, and developing those, making sure that there's clear communication with that, as there can be a lot of miscommunication. And when there's miscommunication, there's really not any effectiveness that's coming from that. And then the next area would be challenging and managing. So the first thing is resisting to change. Then one of the main challenges is resisting to change. Can have an effect on employees and stakeholders. The challenge itself is employees and stakeholders might resist the new change, which can affect overall operations, and resist the social responsibility due to it being unfamiliar and skepticism. So it's hard to kind of prove yourself, so to speak, I guess, prove the company that they're able to do this and this is something that are going to work. Some of the strategies that we can kind of use to manage that is communicating that yes, that these are valid things and valid concerns. However, kind of educating them quickly and on a consistent basis so that they are aware of the changes and the things that are adjusting through that. And then that second challenge is the cultural integration. Implementing a new social responsibility can affect the culture, and definitely there's a lot of things that has that impact on that culture. But one of the main ways that can be done is through social responsibility initiatives, which can align with core values and ensuring that those are recognized and rewarding behaviors and achievements that are kind of developing from that, and implementing that from out of these challenges and the strategies that can occur from that. And then last but not least, lessons learned and social responsibility. So lessons learned is community transparency, being able to have that overwhelming community, and being transparent with that community. Like I said, there's a lot of people within Marriott, and there's a lot of customers and loyal customers too, that are very loyal to the company as well. So being able to be transparent with that. And then environmental responsibility, high energy usage due to many properties. So there's a high energy usage. One of the very couple of issues would be the higher energy usage due to so many properties and being able to promote those operations. However, there's a lot of effectiveness and of those environmentally effective aspects of that. And then managing social responsibility is building a culture of responsibility and being able to engage those employees. I think that when you're motivating those employees and engaging them, it helps to create that culture within that company, and then that will overall bleed into your actual customers and their experience with the company at every location. So and lastly, these are my references. As I mentioned them a little bit as well. I also have them in my notes as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.